What's up, everyone? Jeff from Die Hard Gamer Bros here, and you're watching Captain Algebra. Look what I got you.
Hey everybody, Captain Algebra here. And a while back, I was taking a video by Nintenjoe to talk about the 3 games that I would never ever get rid of, no matter what. So we already did the top 3 games that I would get rid of that were over 25 bucks. Now this is games I would never get rid of. So let's start right away with, on the PS2, God of War 2. Love the God of War series. I was introduced to it back in college when one of my buddies freshman year was playing God of War 1 because God of War 2 was coming out, and then he got it on release day and he started playing it. And like every day I'd come home, we had like similar class schedules. I'd come back from a class and he would just be starting to play it, so I'd sit and watch him for a while. And it was really cool. I loved it. I love the Greek mythology. It's always been really cool to me. So having a game with Greek mythology being such a big part of it, I just thought was awesome. And God of War 2 specifically was just always more epic than the first one to me. Like, I felt like they improved on some things. Controls were a little bit better. It flowed a little bit better. And I love this hack and slash genre. And so this will always be my favorite God of War game. And there was no way I'd ever get rid of it. Number 2 on my list, I actually streamed last year sometime. Donkey Kong 64. This is my favorite Nintendo 64 game of all time, and when I had a chance to get a completed box, I did not turn that down. I still have the expansion pack and the game and the manual, but I had lost the box years ago. And I don't know, I always loved the Donkey Kong Country games, and when I played this, sure, it's, and a lot of us say that Nintendo 64 doesn't look good anymore, but I always enjoyed this. It was always fun to me. And I remember back then I was getting GamePro magazines, and they actually came out with, their strategy guides, and there were 2 issues in a row that were talking about Donkey Kong 64, so I'd go through and I'd read it and help me find stuff that I missed, but it didn't finish the whole game, so then I had to go finish the game myself. And I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I had the fun boss fights. It gets a little repetitive getting all the golden bananas, especially later in the game. A lot of the mini games end up repeating themselves, which can be kind of annoying, but I don't know, it's always been fun to me, and I think it's actually a lot better than every other 3D action platformer collectathon on the system, even Mario 64. Sorry guys. And the number 1 thing that I would never get rid of, and no, it is not Super C. I wanted to go with some things that maybe I haven't talked about too much on the channel. And it'd be my favorite Genesis game of all time, my favorite beat 'em up of all time, Streets of Rage 2. So this is my original copy from back in the day. I remember we borrowed it from one of my mom's co-workers, and for the weekend, because we had the first Streets of Rage, and we were playing this, and like, this was so badass. It's so much better than the original game. They improved so much how it looks. We got new characters with Skate and Max. I mean, I miss having Adam. Adam was awesome. And then Axel's quickly become my favorite in the game. His grand uppercut, or your bare knuckle, whatever you want to call it, depending on where you're from. I believe in this version it's the grand uppercut. Over in Japan it's the bare knuckle. That's what the game is called over there. But that move is so OP. You could basically spam your way through it on easy and normal and just destroy the game. Obviously on hard and on mania and stuff like that, it's a lot more difficult. You can't just do that, but it can get you out of some tough jams, and it really helps against a lot of the bosses. I am always up for playing this game, and everything's great about it, how it looks, the music, just everything. And even though this copy is a little bit torn in the case and stuff, this is my original copy. There's no way I'd ever get rid of it. So there you go. Those are 3 of the items that I would never get rid of out of my game room. You know, some of the last items, if I had to sell everything, that I would try to keep. Obviously, you know, I'm sure you guys know me for my love of LJN. You know, Back to Feature would be hard to get rid of. Obviously, Super C is my favorite game of all time. But I talk about that all the time, so I wanted some games that people might know I like, but I don't talk about as much. Okay? So I'm not going to tag anybody because a lot of people have been doing that already. So if you want to do a video in response to this, obviously go ahead. Just make sure I know about it because I would love to check it out. Thanks for watching, everybody. Till next time, this is Captain Algebra, signing off.